and welcome to the Banjo Basement. I've made a video about this contraption before now, but in which I half threatened to undo a few of the screws. It's only held together with screws. To look under the hood and have a closer look at its construction, which is ridiculously simple, really. And with any luck, when you see how simple it is, you might fancy having a bash yourself, if you haven't already. There we go. I think we should have the other side off too. Oh. It's sort of held on by the lacquer, if you can call it that. Antique pine stained lacquer stuff. And there we go. I mean, really not a lot to it. So I think you can see I made the triangle, glued and screwed, and then I covered it with this lemonade bottle, and you can see, I don't know if you can just see that, I screwed it with these little washers. Do it all the way around, then got the hot air gun, could be a hairdryer at a push, and you warm this up around the edges as well, get nice and warm, and then when it cools it tightens right up. Fantastic. If I were to do this again, I would have put a bevel on these edges here. I get a bit of a buzz. It's quite a long flat surface that this is riding on now, the skin. Really, you know, you want a rounded, sharper edge than that. So I would have put a bevel all the way around, ideally. And also it would have given more surface area for the skin, which might have given more volume and tone. But in any event, it's not too bad. So I then mounted this. I got a floorboard. Essentially, if you can see under there, that at the bottom there is a floorboard. So I got a floorboard and I cut, what is that, some sort of irregular triangle, 2 of them, and then by getting a bit of ply. This is the only bit that's big, the full size. But getting a bit of ply, and then screwing, as you can see, the ply to these boards, and these boards obviously before that to this triangle. Then all I needed was the top, which is in the two pieces. I could have done it in one, but I didn't have anything big enough in the end. Yeah, and then these are just little wedges that were glued to the base to support the sides, which are only thin ply. And then other than that, the neck was made out of an old mahogany shelf, and this is pine either side of it. There's actually a hole in there where the original shelf bracket was. I didn't realise that. It wasn't until I started around it that it appeared. But great, I mean, arts and crafts, eh? Make do amend. Cheap as chips. Yeah, that's about it really. Not a lot more to show and tell. My ever so simple. Oh, the only other thing is the butt. I used a bit of pine. I think I joined it all to a point and then rounded it afterwards. I mean, couldn't be simpler really. Oh yeah, and at the fifth string there's just like it's a split pin, I think. A little tiny split pin that I've tied the string around and stuffed in there, but really a knot would have done. If it was a small hole and a knot and you fed it through from this way, that would have done really. I was just worried I wouldn't be able to get it out again. That's about it really. That's my flying V Banjo. That's all it is. Go on, you want to make one. You know you do. You know you do. Well, that's really it. Hope you like it. Hope you want to make one. Oh, and fishing wire. Fishing line. It's just fishing line. Different gauges of fishing line. Unless you know you love the banjo and you're going to be playing it for the rest of your life and you know you're going to get through many sets of these things, it's not really worth buying 300 meters of fishing line, and this tends to be sea fishing line because it's quite thick. But if you buy a set of nylon strings, you've got a metal wound string for the fourth string. I don't like that. The rest of them are all nylon, they're all monofilament. And that sounds all metally and wrong. So, yeah, definitely worth getting that one. This I think is even strimmer wire that you can get in really quite short lengths. Okay, that really is it now. Hope you enjoyed my ramblings. See you again soon. I've got to put all this back together again now. It's alright for you.